Thank you for tuning in to the interview with the Goddess Glow Gang. Please click subscribe and ring the bell to get more content just like this. And now the interview with the Goddess Glow Gang.
Computer, okay. Hey everyone, welcome to our wonderful interview, Healing from the Inside Out, with Amy, a health coach from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. This is round 2. Thanks to everyone for sticking around with us. And I'll let Amy share a little bit about herself here.
Sure. I just wanted to start with a huge thank you to you, Lindsay. Thank you to all the goddesses here in the Goddess Glow group. I'm so happy to be part of this community and to be asked to come here to speak with you guys and share a little bit about my passion and my life's work. It is just my extreme pleasure to share what I'm so passionate about with you ladies. And I really want, my intention is that you guys are able to take this information and apply simple steps in your life and, you know, continue on your path, you know, to support you in your growth and journey.
Beautiful.
Yes, and before I get into
here, we're so grateful for you sharing all of your knowledge and sharing your story.
Yeah, no, thank you very much as well. I'm so happy and so thrilled to be here. I was so happy and thrilled last night. I forgot to say thank you.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. So before I get into my story, I think it's a good idea, and it's something that I've spoke to you about before, that it's a practice that I'm still putting into everything that I do, I think, and I know you as a yoga instructor, before all of your classes you do this. I think it's really important that we set intentions to everything that we do in life and live really intentionally. So I want all of us to take a moment and set our intention for today's meeting. So just whatever you're dealing with in your health or life, and what you would like to take away from today. We're doing this on a replay, which will be really cool. So we'll be able to, if you have questions along the way, answer those live when we replay this, which I'm excited about that. So set your intention and of what you would like to learn today. And I want you to generate the emotion that that's going to bring into your life, whether that's going to be, maybe you're seeking peace. Joy is a big one for me that has led my journey. I've wanted to, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but it could be a joyful feeling that you want to generate, peaceful, or maybe just feeling good, or maybe feeling just steady. You know, it's different for all of us, but I want you now to set your intention, close your eyes. What do you want to bring into your life, and how is that going to make you feel? And I want us to take just a moment and set that and visualize it. All right, very good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if any of you guys watched some of my story last night, I'm going to just dive right back in, give you a little bit of my background. I'm going to try to do it a little bit more succinctly and tell you about my journey. So my journey to health started 10 years ago. And I had reached a point in my life that I had lost all joy. Somewhere through my 20s, through life, I reached a point and there was no joy. And that's when, that was the turning point. And so that led to me starting to make healthier decisions. And I started exercising at that point and meditating, two of the things that kind of sparked that journey. So in the meditation really, looking back, I think I understand this more than at the moment. At the moment, you know, my body started changing, and I stopped, you know, started craving more plants and healing foods, right? As whole foods, and less meat and less dairy. And so that really sparked my interest into plant-based diet and really understanding how to make sure I was getting all my nutrition. We talked about that. As soon as you tell somebody you're vegetarian, you know, which was where I was headed, and it was organic for me, and everyone's like, what about your protein? And so I was like, oh gosh, what about my protein? I'm like, you know, this is something I need to look up. So I started, you know, I really kind of dove down that hole just to make sure I was getting my nutrients, and then just became really, really passionate about what it was doing, that it actually sparked me to go back to school and study biochemistry, because I wanted to help other people on their journey, because I was experiencing such vast and quick changes in my life. And so I went back to school and I started studying biochemistry. And so all the time that I was in school, I was working as a fitness trainer. I was plant-based diet. I was, you know, I was doing volunteer work with heavy course loads. I was doing research in school with, you know, 20 plus hours and heavy course loads. Yeah, it was, you know,
Crazy.
Yeah. And I was thriving, you know, and I was, even though I was doing a lot of things, I was maintaining balance very well, because the minute I would fall off my exercise, I would realize I wouldn't do as well in school or my exams and the organic chemistry, forget about it. Like, I needed exercise to keep my brain clear, but I was doing it in a very balanced way, and enjoying life. Then I graduated with my degree and took a job to pay my student loans. And I ended up working in a pharmaceutical industry, and because it paid really well, and it was the first job. I mean, they came to me. I was hired before I graduated, literally. Like, you know, I started the day, like the week that I got my diploma. They put me on, and I went through training. And so the long of the short is, while there was a point, you know, in my late 20s, well, really around 30, that I hit that realizing I needed to make some changes, some healthy changes. And all the way I was doing so great. And then all of a sudden I started working in this career,
health coach
and
from the
looking back now, it didn't resonate at all with like the plant-based diet and the whole food nutrition and food as medicine, everything that is at the core of my beliefs. And the job was stressful, and I was, you know, I didn't have any inspiration in the work that was not inspired work. And so that created a lot of stress. And the way that I dealt with that stress is I started drinking a little bit more alcohol to take the edge off. And I think we can all relate to this. I think this is not uncommon. Not a lot of people talk about it, because you can be really functional. You know what I mean? I would wake up and, you know, the caffeine, and I'm, you know, I only just gave up caffeine, and that was a big one for me.
Just recently in the present, right?
Yes. Yeah, like a couple, like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything's a journey, right? And we all move at different paces. And I think that's one big part part of my story, I think is important to realize. And the other thing is that you can fall off track, because here I was living this perfectly beautiful, healthy life in alignment while I was in school, and then ended up in a career that for me lacked any kind of inspiration. And then not, you know, all of a sudden, slowly over that year, like, things got out of hand, because I also dealt with it with over exercising. So I would leave work, I might have a drink before I go to CrossFit, or I might, you know, there was definitely at least 1 to 2 drinks every single evening after work. But then I also coupled that with, you know, things that are normally healthy when they're done healthily. But I would do an intense CrossFit workout, you know, for an hour, and then go to the track and run for another hour doing intense speed work, or, you know, it was just over exercise. So it was, what happens in adrenal fatigue and people who are chronically stressed is that your body actually becomes addicted to the cortisol, because the cortisol is there to provide energy through stressful situations. And then what you unknowingly do is start creating more stress to get the benefits of that cortisol, you know, that it provides when you're, you know, a long time ago it was being chased by a tiger. These days it's, you know, just working a 12-hour day creates the stress, you know, every single day, day after day. But long of the short, even though I had the biochemistry degree and I completely understood what was going on, I just couldn't stop. You know, it was just in that pattern, and that's how I was dealing with the stress in my life. And I ended up getting diagnosed with ADHD, and my hormone, it like affected my blood sugar and my insulin sensitivity. I became insulin sensitive. I had hypoglycemia. I developed that, and I was diagnosed with ADHD. I couldn't focus, so then they put me on speed, basically. So now I'm on a pharmaceutical drug, and they made a joke when I'm, you know, because like everyone that worked in the laboratory was like, they get us all. They're, you know, these people, the night shift people, they put them on sleeping medicine, and the people in the day shift, you know, are new. Like some of us are on the ADHD medicine, and then the other people, they put them on Xanax because they're having anxiety from the job stress. And literally, like everybody in the lab was on some sort of drug. It was a joke that everyone had their gallbladder removed, and I was headed in that direction. You know, I felt my gallbladder was being affected too.
Yeah.
So there was a point that I reached, and it came to me like I was kind of lost again, you know. After 3 years of this, I kind of completely lost track of where I was. And my sister sent me a book, and we talked about it, Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass. We love that book. And it really kind of shook me to the core. I was actually training for a marathon, and I would listen to the audiobook while I was running like 20 miles, and I would be listening, and I would be like sick to my stomach.
Wow.
And sick because I was like, it hit home.
Yeah.
And in her book, she even says like, sometimes it's the things that make you like, that scare you the most are exactly like, and I think there's some other teachers, I can't name them offhand, but you know, sometimes you need to move toward that fear, because that's kind of your internal, like the things that scare you the most is really where you need to go. And for me, it was just like, I didn't know, I didn't have another plan. I didn't, you know, but I did. I started moving in that direction, which brought me ultimately through a journey that I won't go through. But, you know, it was another whole journey to get me where I am now, where I'm practicing as a holistic health coach. And I'm super, super happy. I'm doing what I love. I'm helping women who have suffered similar with their stress to help them create balance in their lives. So before we get started, I guess we want to maybe address like, what is a holistic health coach? I feel like we should maybe address that, and integrative nutrition. So they're kind of the same. Holistic means I work holistically for your health. So in your nutrition, we not only look at your nutrition, which is important, but we consider nutrition from a holistic standpoint, meaning all things that nourish you.
I love that.
Yes, because fulfilling career, for example, was the big one for me. Like, I couldn't get all of that other stuff, like the caffeine, the alcohol, and the addiction to over exercising, like cleared up, like that whole the cycle, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of happy things I was still bringing in my life, you know, but there was just like, there was just still something missing. And finding, you know, doing the soul searching took, you know, wasn't easy, but it brought me to my path and my life's work.
Yeah,
So,
you're aligned.
Yes, brought me into alignment. And then everything else kind of just fell. Like, so I feel like part of this talk that I want to address is, you know, and we're going to talk about the cravings, because that's a big part of it, you know. It's just realizing that there's other driving forces, you know. So for fulfilling career, creativity, and I like to hit creativity because, do you remember ever working on a project that you were super, super excited about? You know, for me, I have a chocolate not addiction, but I like a fascination. I think it's like God's #1 gift. So for my research as biochemistry, I know all the biochemistry of chocolate, and it's like, and I love it. And I would love to do a whole talk on just that, you know, but when I was working on that, it was so fascinating because drug companies have been researching and trying to reproduce it in the lab. And for me, that's something that's really creative for me to like learn about. And I was doing the research and reporting on it. Or, you know, or this, getting ready for this talk with you was super creative process for me, you know, to kind of put everything down, my
Something
message
that excites you, that fills you up.
Yes, and then you forget to eat, right? When you're involved in that, or when you were a kid and you were playing, because play is a super important part of our lives, our relationships, and being playful and having fun. And when you're involved in having fun, food is not. So often we're using food to fill one of those needs. So we've got to look at how we are nourishing ourselves holistically.
We didn't even talk about this, and I think we're too jam-packed today, but I also just had a little light bulb in my head about not only food cravings, but like cravings for certain types of relationships that are familiar, or certain behaviors or certain patterns. And
absolutely,
that'll be a whole nother day. But I just had to pop in and say, like, thinking about cravings in a different kind of way, like how we crave things.
Yes, you read my mind, because when I'm actually, yes, so by the time we do the watch party, I'm going to have a freebie for all the beautiful goddesses on my website that's going to be, you know, how to navigate your cravings. I'm writing that ebook, started that. I'm super excited to get that out to everyone. We'll cover some of it. Yeah.
We're so grateful for that.
But when I started developing it, I had the same idea. I was like, yeah, so you read my mind there on that one, because there are so many kinds of cravings, you know?
Yeah. So what are the primary foods? You were saying fulfilling career, healthy relationships,
spiritual practice, creativity, home environment. So really having a really space that suits your lifestyle, that's clean, and, you know, like your personality, whether you're a creative person, whether you want something really calming, you know, you might have a really high stress job, or you might have, you know, it's just like having that home environment that really supports your lifestyle is important. What else? I have a whole list of them. I had it in front of me last night.
Most of them, though.
What's that?
I think you covered most of them, though.
I have, yes. Relationships and joy and or play. Yeah. So and often, you know, so what I do when I'm working with clients, like I have a set of like primary foods that are 12, but I give my client the option to swap some things out that are more meaningful to them, that have more meaning to them, because primary food, you know, we all have, we call that individuality, right? So there are some things that are swappable depending on your life and where you are at. So, and nutrition and exercise is also, you know, home cooking is an important one too. Like, I think really putting love into your creative like endeavors in the kitchen and having fun, and blessing your food, like just by, you know, really putting love into, and really acknowledging like, the earth. And you know what, like
really, I've been trying to remember to, and sometimes I'm so hungry and so excited about my food that I forget, but I've been trying to just take a moment of mindfulness to close my eyes and just like express gratitude for the food and how it's going to make me feel good and nourish me and provide energy for me. And I used to hate cooking, and now I've been cooking a lot more, which is kind of crucial if you're going to be switching to a plant-based diet and you want to save some money.
Yes. So let's maybe just get right into that part, because we talked about that before too.
Yeah.
So yesterday we touched on it. Let's talk about what a whole foods diet is.
Perfect.
So let me flip over to my notes really quick. I have them somewhere. Just want to make sure I have them pulled up. Okay, so so whole foods diet is closest to the source that you can get. So we're thinking fruits and vegetables, seeds, nuts, fish, milk, eggs, And then when you get into maybe a little bit of processed or like packaged foods, you want them to be 5 ingredients or less. And you should know what you should be able to understand, like what those ingredients are. They should also be whole foods, you know.
Right.
And we want to avoid foods and packaging that when you look at the ingredients list, there are words you can't pronounce, because those are the ones created in a lab.
And what happens with some of the foods that are created in labs?
Those are mad scientists in lab coats and engineers who understand how to manufacture things that make them addictive. And so that's also important to remember, like sometimes when you're craving these foods, it's not your fault. It's not bad. Your cravings aren't bad. We're going to talk about cravings more, but sometimes it's just been what you've been sold. And, you know, the sugar, the processed sugar is so addictive. And they know that.
Sodium is addictive.
What's that?
Sodium too, right?
Sodium. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always craving salty foods.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that one in a little bit too, because that could be a hydration issue.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But we already, So,
I was gonna say something.
It could also be a yin and a yang, by the way, too.
Could be what?
A yin and a yang food imbalance.
Yeah, that's true. Like eating too much or too little salt.
Yeah, or maybe not eating enough neutral too foods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to ask about your recommendation for water and proper sleep when it comes to bringing it all together with a whole foods diet.
For water,
how much water intake and what's a good amount of proper sleep when you're trying to kind of get your body back into a good function?
So I don't know if you're going to like this answer or not, but it's really about you and your body and listening to your body, because it's going to be different for everyone. What I can give you about drinking and hydrating is it's better to sip throughout your entire day than to just guzzle, you know, in the morning and then guzzle at lunch and then guzzle before you go to bed. And guzzling before you bed, by the way, will wake you up in the middle of the night, make you pee. So then it breaks your sleep. So getting your water in the earlier part of the day, but sipping, like, just have water all day long. I'm sipping throughout the day.
Put in a wine glass if you want to have some extra fun.
Yes. And celebrate every day. Yes,
yeah, celebrate our water.
Drink your water from wine glasses. Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you, I don't know if I'm calling it out too soon, but did you want to share the photos of the food, the energy food?
Yes, because you asked me about vibration of whole foods yesterday. Let's flip on over to that. Yes. So what was your question? Do you remember the question? Like, it was a high vibrational food.
It was about if foods that are closer to the source have a higher vibration and like match our frequency of our body than processed foods, which have probably a lower vibration.
Yes. And my answer was yes. My answer was yes. So first off, you just want to think like the thing that I mentioned yesterday is that we are made up of the same molecules that whole foods are made up of. So from a physics standpoint, like a physical chemistry, that's a frequency match automatically, right? Yeah. But I would just want to show you some graphics too, because there is a way that you can, let me click on this to get over to it. So here's a graphic, and you know what? See if you can click up on the top, like right corner, so that you go up, and this makes it like for the full screen.
Is it a little bigger now?
No.
Let me see.
Like the speaker view. Do you see something? Oh no, it's backwards.
No, I think it's.
Why is it backwards?
For me, it's full, because you're the speaker, I think. Well,
my graphic is backwards. It shouldn't be backwards.
It's not backwards for me.
It's not?
No.
That's so weird. It isn't mine. Okay, so I'm glad it's not on your screen, because you're the one recording this. This is called Kirlian photography, and this actually measures the energy of food. Like it was discovered see, we'll have to get into the history of this, but what this is, it's a neon discharge tube. This is a corona discharge, right? So it shows energy discharge from food. So in our graphic here, we are able to measure the energy surrounding food. So on the lower left, you see organic broccoli versus conventional broccoli. And so you've got a higher frequency of energy discharging out of the organic broccoli. And now this has been measured in a laboratory by showing that organic broccoli does have a higher nutrient density count than conventional broccoli. Yeah, so then you look right above that, the sprouts. And so for those of you who don't, I know, for those who don't know what sprouts are, that's a sprouted like seed. And right here, so what happens with that is like a seed is packed full of energy because it's going to have to seed the life of the plant. And so when it is just sprouting, it's got this, like, it's in the process of using all its energy to make life. So you can see that really it's super like charged with energy. And then we have the cacao, which is my favorite food. I have raw cacao every single day. I don't eat chocolate with sugar. I get my cacao because I'm after the neuro like properties of the chocolate and not the sugar addiction. Although anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Chocolate is God's gift to us. So this is just a really good example of showing how this is a higher vibration, right? That Whole Foods, and then, you know, organic versus conventional. And if you Google this, you can find cooked foods, you know, actually raw meat versus cooked meat, you know, so because a lot of people like raw food and they eat raw meat, and a lot of that is based on the fact that the food has more energy. Yeah. Right. So the other cool thing about this is they find that when anything that they're that they're capturing the energy when it's grounded to earth, because we talked it, like I saw someone mention like their feet on the earth, and I was like, oh, earthing. So literally, like when you are grounded to the earth, you will also have more of a charge. So let's flip right on over to this. This is the same thing with humans. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, I don't know if this looks like just the same images that he generates, but this is a technology where they use the same, they measure the energy fields of humans. In Russia, they use this technology before someone is scheduled for surgery. And if you look like the person on the left and that you don't have enough energy to recover, they will not do your surgery until you are in a state that they know you can properly heal from the surgery. So on the right is after meditation. So we can really boost through eating whole foods and through meditation. We can really brighten our aura through lifestyle. I don't know. I just love this.
Yeah, no, I love this. I love that the previous graphic said, I think it said all living things have an energetic field surrounding them. I love that.
Yeah, but you know, the thing too about that, all living things do, but all things, we're all energy. Like this, you can measure the energy of everything this way. So things that are not living too, but anyway, it's a really cool example.
I like those graphics a lot.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What do you recommend for, I don't know if you want to move into mindfulness or if you want to move toward cravings?
Let's do it to let's go into cravings.
Okay.
And move into mindfulness.
Perfect.
Because what we'll do right now is kind of just focus on cravings, because I think that was the biggest thing that everyone like in the Glow Gang, right?
Yeah, cravings and just eating to feel good.
Yeah. So, all right. So what are causes of cravings? So number one, I like that we start with is the lack of primary food. You're dissatisfied in a relationship, or you're over exercising like I did before, or maybe you're not exercising enough.
Yeah.
Maybe you're bored. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you have an uninspiring job like I did. right? Or,
Looking for something else, something
looking for
different.
something else. So yeah, lacking spiritual practice affects spiritual practice as a whole. Like, I don't know if you've heard of the Blue Zone diet.
Yes.
I've
heard
the
of
Blue
the
Zone study. What's that?
I have heard of that. Is that about, it's about the Mediterranean, I thought.
Well, okay, so the Blue Zone study, not the diet, it's a Blue Zone study. They study all the cultures around the world that have people who live over 100, like in their society. Like, yeah, so they
study.
So and then they develop like this whole list of through statistics, things that they can actually calculate what your age will, how long your life will be, your life expectancy based on, and being part of a spiritual community is one of the things that's on that list.
Well, I love that.
Yeah. So lack of primary food, right? Looking to feel something else.
Yeah.
Missing, and kind of resorting instead of like really. So we'll talk about next, like how to handle those, but these are just the causes. Dehydration, it's a lot of times we mistake thirst for hunger. Also, if you lose electrolytes, you might be craving salty foods when you really just need like some minerals and some sodium or magnesium. The yin and the yang, and stop me if you have any questions along the way.
Okay.
So it could be like a yin and a yang imbalance. So yin foods are sugary foods, like sweet foods. Yang foods are meat, and what you call neutral foods would be considered your whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and beans. Those are neutral.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's traditional Chinese medicine. So when you get out of balance, but it kind of just follows the whole foods diet.
Right.
Anyway. But I mean, there is a connection to traditional Chinese medicine. So you talked about yesterday with me mentioning like what you grew up on, you crave, like the things that you ate when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely
normal to me.
What's that?
They were normal to me before I started. Like I grew up on like breakfast cereal and bagels and Pop-Tarts and toaster strudels and Cheez-Its, goldfish.
Yeah. So that they call that your inside coming out. I don't know if it's true too. The other thing is like a whole microbiome, your digestive tract. So yes, so a lot of times that's what that's the bacteria that you're feeding, or those like carbohydrate feeding bacteria, and then they start running the show. There's a lot of that because then they're in that's part of that. Also just the emotional, like you're trying to recreate a positive feeling that you had, of that you had when you're a child. So
it didn't really change much until I started looking at the ingredients. Like I never really thought I just never thought I had to look at the ingredients, because I thought, oh, like I've eaten this my whole life, or I mean, like it's on the shelves, we're able to buy it, so how could it be bad for me? And then I started reading the ingredients and I was like, I don't know what this multi-fructose dextrose stuff is. I don't know what these words mean. Like, what am I actually putting into my body, and how am I fueling myself?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they come up with lots of creative names for sugar, for processed sugar.
They try to whoever the food manufacturers try to use like 15 different names, I think, for sugar. And fructose. Is sugar fructose?
Yes. Yeah. So and in fact, sometimes they do that too. So they'll actually add a bunch of different kinds of sugar and sweetener, so that sugar doesn't come up to be the first ingredient, because they actually break it down into, like, it's listed from your ingredients lists and on your nutritional
majority, right?
It's in the order of like how much, like whatever's in most is listed first, right? It's in descending order. And so a lot of times they'll do a bunch of different types of sweetener so that it comes down later, but when actually it's primarily sugar, if you look at.
Interesting. I never thought about that. So it's like each ingredient is a different sugar, and they're able to put it at the end. even though it's all sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask I think we got talking just a little bit yesterday, and I wanted to share my possible symptoms. What can you experience, or how can you feel if you're not eating a whole foods diet? Like for me, I think it can be bloating and anxiety and insomnia, stressed, lethargic, not having enough energy, or maybe having too much energy and then crashing.
Yeah. Yeah. All of those are definitely signs of not having a whole foods diet, because of the way it affects your hormones. Which we're going to, yes. So anxiety, is definitely linked in multiple ways. So people don't realize it's so connected to your food, and the foods are affecting your hormones, and it has this cascade effect throughout your body. So the fatigue is, often because of the sugar, the way the food is being processed, and also affecting your hormones. But, you get, and then the caffeine that we become addicted to, many people that was definitely me for, up until recently. And, so all of those bloating and the gas. So really interesting, is 74% of Americans experience these symptoms: diarrhea, bloating, gas. We all but
it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good, and it's not our fault, because it's just the food that we've been fed, and it's been the food that we've been sold.
Right. And I wanted to say, you said that our hormones are the main connection, right, between our physical body and our nervous system?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Absolutely.
I just thought that was a fun tidbit to share. We'll do another interview on hormones, going more in depth, but it's really fascinating to know that can affect your mood swings, how you feel, how your body functions.
Right. And and then that starts affecting our thoughts, and then our thoughts affect, it just kind of creates this whole cycle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
how can we approach cravings?
Okay.
When they come up?
I really think the mind being, we need to navigate that with mindful practices.
Yeah.
So I think first off, before I really get into how specifically navigating the cravings specifically, I think it's really important for me, because it's been an important part of my journey, to just mention how important taking that time for yoga or meditation or whatever it is. And literally for meditation, 3 minutes a day. If you decide to take 3 minutes out of your morning and start your day. I mean, you can find 3 minutes. I'll
even tell people 1 minute. If you really, really can't make it, just anything is better than nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely agree. 1 minute to sit down and breathe consciously with an intention for your day. Absolutely. Yeah. Do that consistently and watch your world change.
Yeah. And it's just 3 minutes, a minute. It's just such a small percentage of our time that we're given, that we have each day.
Yeah. 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 So I just wanted to bring that up, because I think that's really key to remember, that it's just it's a small deposit into your bank, right? Yeah, your health bank.
Investment.
Yes, it's an investment. It's huge. It pays better than any stocks that you'll ever invest in. I mean, or mutual fund.
Yeah.
So the other, so navigating cravings with mindfulness, I'm going to read my notes here if you don't mind. The 3 steps is acknowledging the craving. And so that's instead of just running and grabbing, so acknowledge that you have a craving, right? So that's the first mindful step.
Okay.
And then, so having really understanding the different places that explore your craving with no judgment.
Yeah.
Be curious and you know, with a childlike curiosity. And then once you kind of understand where it might be coming from, then you can proceed from a place of empowerment, you know, whether you choose to fulfill that food craving, and, you know, or maybe, you know, you might start, you know, becoming aware is the first step, because once you're aware, maybe in that moment of awareness, all you have is like the snacks that you bought and you're going to eat it because it's there. But then the next time you go shopping, maybe because of that awareness, you might bring home something a little bit healthier, you know, and because you've taken the time to acknowledge this could be from this, you know, I might need some salt or like electrolyte imbalance. I might need to hydrate more, you know, and just kind of bring acknowledgement into, like, awareness into that.
Yeah, I like how you talk about bringing awareness into it rather than just like saying like, no, you can't eat anything that's bad for you, but just about bringing the awareness to it and making the decision for yourself from a place of empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it can feel very overwhelming when we're like not making those choices. We're not really thinking about it. We're just reaching into the cabinet or grabbing something from the kitchen and eating it. But just taking even a minute or 3 minutes or 10 seconds to think like, why am I craving this? Do I really want it? How am I going to feel after I eat this? Am I going to feel good?
Yeah. Yes. That's important, because everyone says, why do you make healthy choices? And that's been mine. I want to feel good. Yeah. I mean, ultimately it's because I want to feel good. And the other thing is that I wanted to mention is cravings aren't bad. Cravings are messages.
Yes. I love
cravings that. Are your body's talking to you. You know what I mean? Because that goes back to really like looking at what are you trying to feel? Or is it a loneliness? Do you want this chocolate because you're lonely? Like, you know?
Yeah.
You know, for me, like ice cream was a big one. And I think that just came from definitely like, because I've been living on my own for so long, it just created like comfort, right? It took me back to being a kid again, you know, with my cousins and, you know, and the slumber parties and like, I mean, really you can go back into like, because a lot of it has those connections, right, to when we were kids and we, you know, we had ice cream when we won our baseball or softball game, or you know what I mean? As a reward. Yeah. So it's kind of say, okay, so what can I reward myself with? What new reward can I incorporate?
Yeah, cacao.
Yeah, I love chocolate.
I also think it's important to just note, like you said, you know, am I having this chocolate because I'm feeling lonely? And like, if that's going to make you feel really comforted and really good inside, then I think it's a great decision. Like, as long as you just know what decision you're making and that it is actually going to make you feel better.
Right.
Whereas if you're eating the chocolate because you're lonely and then you also feel bad about yourself for eating the chocolate, then you're really just like spiraling into not what you want.
Lindsay, that's such a good point. Yes. And I think that it is empowering to say, I'm going to have this little piece of chocolate. And then the other thing I like to bring, and part of working with a health coach is really kind of helping keeping you on track to, you know, because one of the things that I do is I give you this little wheel where you rate all the pieces of your life. You give them a rating, and then if it's not a full circle, and mine is still not full, like I've got this moon thing going on in mine, you know, because it's, you know, we're always working on stuff.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives you an awareness of the things that are, you know, and then you can start making conscious decisions to bring wholeness to those parts of your life that are important, that are nourishing, by taking steps and self-care, you know, and connecting. For me, it's connection, because I just moved here and I don't have a lot of people, you know, that I know. And so it's like moving here has been kind of difficult for me. But it's something I've been putting, effort into, is creating connection with like-minded people. Yeah.
this is a little bit of a side tangent thing, but
That's
I
fine.
also wanted to touch on what you said about feeling good and manifestation.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, because I really love this part of your group. I love that you've tied this Glow Goddess Gang into manifestation, because I'm all about manifestation. And and I'm just getting like the whole manifestation chills right now, you know, because it really is a body buzz. Manifestation is a feeling, it's an emotion, and it comes from literally that, like that big aura that I showed you. It's being able, having that high energy. That's when you hear people say high vibrational state. So by getting your energy up, and that's by getting yourself into alignment. That's what we're doing with those primary foods. Your chakras are also attached to those parts of your life, like financial security, your sacral, right? Like being safe and having security. So these all tie in together. So no matter what aspect you're looking at them from, getting yourself into alignment is basically the same way I look at nutrition, and from a holistic standpoint. So by really looking after your health, it creates that alignment in your, and it creates this really great health. And then
Anything is
I mean, we're
possible.
manifesting every single day anyway.
Yeah.
Like life is a manifestation.
Without realizing it.
So conscious manifestation is when you become aware it's a manifestation and you believe that you're manifesting. Right? You have to have belief.
Yeah.
For you to become conscious of it. And
you
so
have to feel good.
Yeah, and the feeling good. So I'm attracting things all the time now that I've gotten myself into, just this like completely state of health, you know, where I'm working, I'm keeping track. I do a check-in every other month on my primary food. I'm like, where am I at in this? And sometimes I realize, okay, I'm still in the same place I was 2 months ago, but I'm making progress.
Yeah.
You know, and very little baby steps. I'm making some progress. And sometimes, you know, there's a season for different things in our lives, right? Sometimes it's a time for us to focus on our education. Education's another one of our primary foods, you know, and sometimes it's, yeah, I mean, because it's really important to continue to learn throughout your life, and, you know, because discovery is always happening. You know, and new technology is always coming out, and things are moving faster and faster, and to keep up, education's part of it, right?
Yeah. And I love how you say just about bringing the awareness for the manifestation. And I think it can sometimes be difficult to become aware of things that aren't tangible. And I think becoming aware of your health and what you're eating is such an easily, readily available, like right in front of your face thing. And for me, at least, I feel like I just became so much more in alignment with my life's passion and purpose and things that bring me joy when I started to become just more aware about how I'm treating my body.
Yes.
And I think that totally starts with health and how you're nourishing.
Yes, it does. The journey is really not about manifestation. The journey is really about, you know, just having a good, happy, full life.
Yeah.
And the manifestation just happens after that, right?
Effortless.
It's effortless, yeah.
And I think you can expand your awareness once you become aware of your body and how you feel and your body's messages and the food that you're eating, then your awareness just continues to grow and expand to other areas of your life.
Yes, yes. It's just a natural evolution of consciousness, of our consciousness.
Yeah.
And it starts with just, you know, becoming conscious of yourself.
Yeah. I love how we just circled back around so organically. We didn't even talk about that beforehand.
No, I know. It's perfect. Good.
It's so great. I'm just looking at our notes here. Oh, what is your late night solution for cravings?
Okay, yeah. So this, I just want to talk on this because I have a super fast metabolism, and Lindsay, there's somebody out there who says that they have a trouble sleeping because their belly's growling, and girl, I'm right there with you because that whole eating, you know, stopping, like eating 3 hours before bed, and like I can't sleep either. I get it. And what I found to be super helpful is I am a proponent of bone broth. Bone broth is like a miracle like drink. And so you've got it's full of protein. So right there, it's a liquid, it's low in calories, but it's full of protein, a little bit of fat. So it's going to, you know, it's going to satiate those cravings. What it's also doing is it's rich in an amino acid called glutamine. So it's going to really take good care of your gut. It's going to help heal any damage. And we, you know, all those digestive issues, like it's a whole nother, you know, talk about keeping your digestive, getting that sorted out, because you can make healthier decisions. And if you don't heal your gut, you're not getting all the benefits. And that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But glutamine in the bone broth will help heal your gut. It's the other amino acid is glycine, which is a really magical amino acid. But for right before bedtime, it brings, I mean, literally it promotes, like, I can be, you know, because I get up here and I'm like on my energy and I'm working and I'm excited and I have to turn it off. And when I have my bone broth, within like 40 minutes to an hour, like that glycine does its work, and it promotes rest. It helps you fall asleep and it helps you rest, like get really good restful sleep. And that's shown in studies. So that's my suggestion for late night cravings is the bone broth. And just it's magic. I mean, it's so good. It's such a, like, it's good for your skin and your hair
system.
It's everything. Yeah. But it's really good because it's full of collagen, and so it's really good for your skin and your hair and beauty, and you're getting sleep, which is good for your beauty. So I just feel like it's the females, you know, beauty supplement.
Do you just have one serving at night?
Yeah, I have a cup. I actually started adding sometimes a cup in the morning too, because it's just so great for you. And I think it's a really good way to start your day too, because you're in that rested state, and it again is giving you some protein, and you know, you wake up in the ideal is to wake up in a fasted state, you know, so and so it just helps promote healing in your gut, and you know, it's really good for my skin. I definitely think it's been a big part of the cancer. Like, I had the skin cancer scar that for 5 years. Wow. 5 years ago, I had surgery, and I had the, you know, I still have the scar, but literally in the last 5 months that I've implemented all these, you know, healing properties of like really intensely taking care of my gut and focusing and putting all of this in practice, like the scar has disappeared. Like, wow. I mean, and I had this big lump from the scar because they had to cut vertically because of the skin cancer was just so deep. And so then I had all like the edema where it swells was like dipped down, and I just felt really deformed. My face was deformed, you know, it wasn't like it was. And in 5 months of making these changes, like my skin, the scar has disappeared, the edema has like gone back in, and it's like rapid healing in 5 months. Rapid. But that's again a whole nother chat that we could do on that.
I had one more thing I wanted to circle back. Coming back to mindfulness, you were talking about decreasing stress to help facilitate rest and digest.
Yes. So we're going to I'll just really quickly on that one, because that goes into your hormones. So meditation or restorative yoga practice is really good, because our lives are just naturally we're living at a faster pace, digital technology, we've got things and information and work, and everything's going faster. And demands are higher than they used to be. So we end up, you know, stress is good for the body in some ways. We're built to adapt under stress.
Yeah.
right? We get stronger, our muscles, that's how we build muscle. So stress can be really good for the body. Stress, I think, is really good for the soul, because that's how our consciousness, it makes us turn inward often. So stress is good in a lot of ways, but creating balance is also important. So that's, I think, more than ever with the higher stress lives that we're leading, these restorative practices, are the meditation and yoga, are super important, because what that does, it puts you back out of the fight or flight, puts you back into rest and digest, where your body can heal itself and you can sleep better. And so and it helps restore, like, you don't want, when our adrenal system is turned on chronically, that's a prime reason we have PMS, because that's the other thing. In the last 5 months, I have no PMS. All of my PMS is gone, completely gone. No cramp.
I already can't wait for our interview on just hormones, because they're just so fascinating and have so much to do with so many things in our lives that we don't even really realize.
Yes.
And who wants to feel PMS and have mood swings and feel irritable and off for 3, 5, or 7 days?
Because that leads to bad decisions, and then we beat ourselves up about it because we're already emotional, because our hormones are all out of balance.
Another cycle.
And it's another cycle.
Okay.
That doesn't have to be that way, right? When we're empowered with, like, the understanding, of what's going on, like, knowledge is
slow, taking a baby step.
Yeah, well, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, this has been a 10-year journey for me. Like,
woo! We're proud of you. All right, let's get into, unless you have anything else to add, let's get into the 5 actionable items.
Okay, yeah, let's do that really quickly.
We'll do that and then the takeaways, and then we can end.
How long have we been going?
I think just about an hour now, maybe.
Perfect.
So then we got, like 5 or 10 minutes just to finish up, and then,
Okay, so let's start with keeping healthy foods in your house. So don't shop when you're hungry, and make a grocery list, right? Buy healthy foods, right? I have a healthy recipe we'll post up tomorrow, or I'll have it ready for when this goes live, but kind of being prepared, and when you shop, to have, like, shop for the food. So maybe have some recipes, and then doing food prep. So I can give you some tips. We'll do that too. Like, I buy usually, like, your vegetables, like squashes and eggplant and peppers, and I roast those in my oven. So I always have those on hand. Cooking quinoa, like someone I think was talking about avoiding grains. So that was something you mentioned to me. So quinoa is a really good alternative. Quinoa is not actually a grain. It's a pseudo grain. It's a seed that looks and tastes, and it will supplement. So then you're not having grains, you're having seeds. And I love quinoa. It's one of my favorites, because I don't eat a lot of grain. Or having, like brown rice or pre-cooked. I buy a bunch of, I rotate whatever like greens, and I pre-chop them and put those in a big bowl, and I have that. So there's always chopped greens and in a sealed container, so I can make a salad quickly. So having these things on hand, ready to go quickly. When you cook a meal, cook a big batch, freeze some, put some. I'm a single person, so I might do a big thing of black beans, and I'll put them in little packages, individual, and because I can only eat legumes in small amounts, so I put them in tiny little single serving and I put them in my freezer and pull them out one a week, or 2 for the week. Yeah, so it's just kind of like thinking ahead and having these things where you can just pull them out of the cupboard or pull them out of the freezer, making a big pot of soup and doing the same thing, like putting them in.
Making it easier for yourself, and not even keeping the chips, crackers, cookies, things in your house.
I don't buy those things.
I had one of the women in this group, Sydney, I'll shout her out. She said she went to Wegmans, and she just like went around the outside of the store and like didn't even go in the middle aisles. So if you're feeling super tempted, maybe just try that. Get some vegetables, and once you start at least, no, not just for me, for everyone. Once you start eating healthier foods, you're going to start craving healthier foods.
And that's an insight coming out that I was talking about earlier. Yes, once you start feeding your body those things, it starts craving it. And that's the outside, that shopping on the perimeter of the grocery store is fantastic advice, because in Wegmans, a little bit of the center too, because of their, like, Wegmans is overwhelming. Yeah. It's a beautiful place to go, but yeah, so then that's where the Whole Foods are, right?
Yeah. And also one extra thing, I just want to say health is an investment, and I think it's a myth that eating healthier is more expensive. I think it can be more expensive if you're trying to be convenient, but if you use Amy's kind of meal prep tips and just like pre-chop, pre-cut,
it's actually cheaper.
Some things and have them easy to grab and go and be convenient.
It's actually cheaper.
Yeah, I found it to be cheaper, and you're also investing into your body, and your medical bills are going to be cheaper in the future too.
Yeah, it's like putting deposits into your mutual funds.
Yeah,
I mean, your health, because you're saving yourself. You know, you also can get reduced rates on life insurance, health insurance this way. A lot of the companies now, when I was working in corporate, that's the health insurance is ran by these incentive programs. So if you are working for a corporation, no, it's like, so because they're promoting health, it's actually a good thing. You get reduced your reduced like health insurance rate. My Garmin watch I got for free because I made healthy decisions, and they give you points and money. So take advantage of those things too, to get to get your fitness tracker for free from your corporate health insurance, you know, and get paid to do the healthy things. Like, sign up for these apps.
Use the gym membership if your insurance comes with one. Some of them have like a rebate or something for
they do
eating healthy or going for a gym membership or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, and also like overcoming that limiting belief, just it's a total limiting belief that we've been fed that it's more expensive to eat healthy. It's not. It's actually cheaper. And like, especially now that Aldi's, I love Aldi's because
I love Aldi's.
Yeah. And I go to Down to Earth, the Whole Food store. That's a shout out to them because they are amazing in there.
Yeah.
And they keep a really good stock, and they have they have a Wednesday before they get their produce, like, because they get a shipment on Thursday. So you can actually go in there on Wednesday and get 25% off your produce, which is always still good produce. I did that yesterday. I went in and picked up a few things because I needed, and then also shopping at the local farms. I want to give a shout out. I haven't been to
such a good farmer's market.
Yeah, I haven't been to the farmer's market yet because I'm still new to the area, but I intend on going. Also, growing your own vegetables. So I signed up for the community garden, and I in my 20s I did like learn to garden, and I really enjoyed it. So it's something that I've been missing. So I'm joining the community garden here in Endicott. And I'm going to start a small garden in my yard and where I live in my apartment. Beautiful. My landlady. Yeah. So, and then I want to give a shout out to Russell Farms because I've been told that they have and other local farmers too, like support the local farmers, because a lot of times when you go there, they also have a huge selection of food that they're just going to throw out too, that you can get at a reduced cost if you just drive 20 minutes, and then it's a beautiful drive and you can walk around the farm and
less plastic too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into the swaps. We have
the swap. Okay, so whole grain bread instead of white or wheat, because wheat bread, like the little square wheat bread, like you want to be able to see the whole grains. You want to see the seeds. Like that's going to be better. And really, it's really difficult to find a bread without sugar. But that I always, if I decide to buy bread, and then sprouted grains are even better, because now the sprouts also contain enzymes that help you digest the grains. So instead of having fruit juice, buy whole fruit and have a piece of fruit. Instead of white rice, do brown rice or the cauliflower rice. Like buy a head of cauliflower, make that. So if you're if you're still in the caffeine, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. If you're doing, like my sister used to have an addiction, and she probably still does, the sugary energy drinks. She does a sugar-free, so it might even be sugar-free, but those things, like switch.
The chemicals.
Yeah, the chemicals. So switch to organic coffee, or, switch to coffee. I like organic coffee, but especially if you're going to do decaf coffee, do water washed. I just want to mention that because decaf coffee, mostly, if you don't get the organic, it's got chemicals in it. But that's a whole none. And then if you're trying to get off the coffee, switch to green tea.
Yeah.
Green tea is so
many good flavors too. Like I've gotten peach and lemon and just so many like fruity, fun, tangerine.
Yes, I like. Yeah. So in the summer, like I like hot tea. In the winter, in the summer, I like to do those flavored green teas and then refrigerate them. They're really good.
And we should make them steep them, right? Not like a green tea from like a bottle that is already.
Yeah, make your own tea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So sweet potatoes and sweet vegetables. So no white, like potatoes are, white potatoes. But if you're having white potato, like sweet potatoes are
so nourishing.
They're so nourishing, and it's a really good way to like that was how I got off the sugary energy bars that I was.
They're sweet. I love
potatoes.
Yeah, they're so sweet.
Yeah,
they taste so good.
Yeah, and they're so nourishing. So those are my swappers.
You can take a sweet potato and just like use a fork to stab some holes in it, and like the microwave is not very good, but whatever. You can throw it in the microwave for a few minutes, and it just cooks it right there.
Yes. I also will buy just a big bag, and I bake them all at once, and then I freeze the baked ones.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I put them in freezer bags. So then you pull it out, it's already baked. They're really delicious in salad. So instead of throwing in sugary like cranberries, because the cranberry salads are really yummy, but those dried cranberries almost always have added sugar. And so I love putting sweet potatoes instead of those cranberries. And then you're getting and I just chop up the baked sweet potatoes. So good in the salad.
Oh, I love that. I never thought of that, putting in the salad.
Yeah. And same with beets, so what else? Mindfulness to your eating habits.
We talked about that.
But that's the actionable item is, just starting to be aware of your cravings. Start with awareness. And
Amy says eat a salad once a day. But I said that might not be doable for everyone. So we also said once a week.
Once a week.
Wherever you are.
Yeah, wherever you are. It's so true.
Extra salad is good.
And get creative. Like this, you know what I mean? I love to get creative in my salad. Sometimes I'm like I'm just going to have green salads, and I'll go to the store and I'll buy green apples and avocado, just a bunch of green, and limes, and I just make it bright green, or
Yeah, and just toss everything together. You don't even have to cook.
No, I know.
It's easy.
And keeping your primary food in mind, right? Yeah. So being aware of making sure you've got, you're reaching out to your family and friends and staying in touch, and looking. If you also, I would love to do, I'm offering free health coaching.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, Amy's your girl if you need any support or.
So write
questions.
Yes, questions for sure. I would love to spend 50 minutes if you have like a health goal. It could be a fitness goal. It could be a health concern. It could be something you're hurting. It could be your skin, whatever. 50 minutes. Lindsay has the link for that. But I also right now for people who are unemployed because of COVID, I've got normally the health coaching program, and I really like to run it out through a 6-month period. But because of this high stress situation, it's $33 a month for 3 months. And it's kind of just give you some support in these things to help navigate these overwhelming emotions that you might be dealing with, and just keep you balanced, right? And have an accountability. And so just, I wanted to let everyone know that I had that out there. Yeah.
Okay. I want to go through the 5 actionable items just really quick in a row. Okay. So number 1 is do your best to avoid things like chips, crackers, cookies. Try to maintain eating healthy food and just keep healthy food in your house readily available. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is make swaps. Try to think about what kind of foods you're eating and how you can swap them for just a little bit healthier option. You don't have to completely transform your diet overnight. Just a quick swap. Yeah. And number 3, bring mindfulness to your eating habits. Number 4, eat a salad once a day or once a week. or anytime, add a salad.
Yeah.
And number 5 is remember your primary foods first.
Yeah.
Primary foods, the relationships, your support system, your job, your creativity, your joy.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
And then we've got 3 takeaways for you. I'll do number 1. Number 1 is it's not an overnight change. It's okay to fall off. Nobody's perfect. It's not going to be like a magical snap your fingers transformation, like, oh, I'm healthy overnight. And we can always connect the dots looking back and creating awareness about our patterns and how we're eating and how we're treating ourselves. And just keep in mind to be kind to yourself. And if you fall off, there's always the option to come back. Yeah. It's not an end-all, be-all. It's not 100% or nothing. It's just about being aware and making small, good choices.
Yes. Yes. You can read them all. That's a,
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number 2 is focus on crowding out old habits by adding health habits. So meet yourself where you are and set yourself up for success by being intentional and setting 1 to 2 attainable goals for yourself. Start small. And most importantly, number 3 is to celebrate your wins.
Yes. Celebrate.
One small choice, like when you eat a salad, just like, yes, I'm so happy I'm eating this salad. I'm so proud of myself. I feel good, and I'm celebrating that I'm eating this salad. Or when you make the swap from white bread to multigrain bread, like, yes, I'm celebrating this. This is a big deal. Make the small changes a really big deal for yourself, because you're going to feel so much more like thrilled, excited, exhilarated, just like so heartful and joy centered around what you're doing. So celebrate, find a win in every situation, and focus on what's new and exciting about your diet.
Yeah.
I just got so excited, so pumped talking about that, because I just love sharing this. I'm so grateful for you sharing all of this, Amy.
It's been just my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're
so welcome. We'll post this. It's funny it's not live. We'll post this on Saturday, and we'll be commenting. Well, I don't know how to say this.
I'm excited to share. I'm excited that we get to be there live with everyone too. And I will have a link so everyone can get the ebook that I'm finishing up probably today and tomorrow. It'll be up. I'll have that ready to go too. So yay.
We can't wait. Thanks so much everyone for watching, and sign up for a free health coaching call with Amy. Every time I point, I'm hoping I'm actually pointing it.
You are. It looks like it to me.
Okay. Good. All right, we're gonna hop off now. So thanks everyone. Love you.
Thank you so much for loving
you.
I love you all.
Get more questions. Bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you for watching. Please click subscribe and ring the bell to get more content just like this.